guy won't bother you anymore. Firebenders? They were here? Gyatso.
Oh, man. Come on, Aang. Everything will be all right. Let's get out of here. Aang, come on! Snap out of it! Ah!
Aang, I know you're upset. And I know how hard it is to lose the people you love. I went through the same thing when I lost my mom. Monk Gyatso and the other airbenders may be gone, but you still have a family. Sokka and I, we're your family now.
Katara and I aren't gonna let anything happen to you. Promise.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It wasn't your fault.
But you were right.
When Aang sees Gyatso's body, of course he is hurt, that his mentor is gone and that he truly may be the last airbender. In distress, he enters the Avatar state. What snaps him out of this is Katara's speech relating to his pain of loss, and expressing that although the airbenders may be gone, he still has a family, Sokka and her. 2 years ago, I made a video where I talked about the character assassination of Aang in The Legend of Korra, where I claimed that Aang is an abusive father through unjustified favoritism and putting an unrealistic burden of restoring an entire culture onto his kid. This expectation shouldn't have even existed in the first place. Aang found a replacement for family through Katara and Sokka, which made it easier to accept the loss of his culture. You clearly just saw that! I will make a recap of this claim, and then explain how the new Avatar movie further proves this. In Korra, Aang is convinced that he's responsible for the death of the Air Nomads, and that he must restore the culture. Hello? Where did this come from? This was not in the last Airbender. A discussion between the children of Aang, Kaya, Bumi, and Tenzin, that is explained that Tenzin wishes he could be as good as a father to his own children, like how Aang was to all of them. And this is where things get a little muddy. Kaya has to explain to Tenzin that he's exactly like Aang, and this is not a good thing. Aang was so focused on his responsibilities and saving the world that he barely had time for his kids. In my original video, I already explained that this is already bad. If you have all these responsibilities, it's already a bad call to have kids when the majority of your time is allocated somewhere else. It just sucks, like that Aang didn't grow up in like some fucking commune where like everyone looked after each other. So it's just impossible for him to raise them in any other way than the American nuclear family. But he wants to restore his culture so bad he didn't create a communal space for his children. Now Aang is put in the position where he has to compromise the care of his children and the fulfillment of his other duties. But stay with me, it gets worse. During their childhood, Tenzin was the only kid who had the ability to airbend. Aang would give the majority of his time to Tenzin because of this ability. Compared to Kaya and Bumi, Tenzin was put on a pedestal, and it's fuck you to Kaya and Bumi because they don't have that ability. They are left with the thought that their parents like their sibling more than them, over something they literally couldn't do. Aang is deadass making the judgment that Kaya and Bumi are not as valuable as Tenzin by doing this. On top of this, Kaya and Bumi grew resentment towards Tenzin because they wanted to be in his position. We can clearly see this in the dialogue when Bumi says this.
You two have no idea how it feels to have the future of an entire culture on your shoulders.
Oh, boo-hoo. Must have been real hard for you, flying around the world with Dad riding elephant koi all day.
Oh, so that's what this is all about.
That's what it's always been about.
Aang out here taking vacations with only one child, not bringing the others, making them feel neglected. Nigga, is this the Air Nomad way? Me personally, I didn't see any times Gyatso was just taking Aang on vacation, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just a little confused here.
Look, I'm sorry I didn't turn out to be an airbender like you hoped. But I've tried my best to keep the world safe. Hope I made you proud.
It is clearly shown how shitty Bumi feels in his life because during the time with his dad, he did not have the ability to airbend. He's literally apologizing to his father for not turning out as an airbender as his father hoped. Bumi feels like a failure for not living up to Aang's expectations of airbending, which Bumi doesn't have control over. The reason I started the video with that clip is to highlight that Aang sees his family. The Air Nomads are dead. Aang realizes that he has a new family despite losing his old one. In The Legend of Korra, this lesson is forgotten. Aang now feels that he is responsible and must bear the burden of restoring the Air Nomad culture. He leaves behind his acceptance that Katara helps him realize and replaces that with an obsession to restore what has been lost. There is not an explanation given for this shift, conversations, a certain moment, anything that helps to justify the change that was integral to his entire journey. This is obviously extremely frustrating presented as fact. What makes it worse is that this burden does not stay with Aang. Tenzin inherits the weight of the entire lost Air Nomad culture during his childhood. Tenzin didn't have a choice in whether he could airbend. Tenzin ends up in the Fog of Lost Souls, which is a spirit prison for humans which imprisons you in your own darkest memories.
Remember who you are, Tenzin. You are the son of Avatar Aang. You are the hope for future generations of airbenders. The fate of the world rests on your shoulders. But what if I fail, Dad? I've failed you. I am no spiritual leader, and I've let the world down. I'll never be the man you were.
You are not me, and you should not be me. You are Tenzin.
You can see the insecurities in Tenzin. Clearly, he feels the pressure that fell on him, that he is the hope for future generations of airbenders, and that the entire fate of the world rests on his shoulders. Ears up! Listen, he says this.
But what if I fail? Then your father's hope for the future dies with you.
Guilt is what drives Tenzin, not wanting to let down his father's vision, letting down his legacy. Yes, this really isn't Aang, and it isn't directly what Aang said to Tenzin. The fact that this outcome still was produced shows that Aang was terrible. Do you smell that? Ugh.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. That's some bullshit!
The Legend of Aang movie begins with Aang exploring through an air temple before he's attacked by a group called the Deniers. Later, while talking to Katara, Aang says this.
If I die, my culture dies with me.
Aang, none of this would exist without you. Because of you, all of the nations live here, together.
All except mine.
I know, but the people here still need your protection.
All except yours? Not only is this inconsistent from the original show, Aang, you're not this dumb. Like Katara said, think about the people who are living. He went from accepting his culture's death to shifting his focus that it must persist. The plot of this film is that there's this crazy magical staff that was owned by previous Avatar Sona that is spirit infused, which allowed her to channel energy from the spirit world and bestow airbending onto non-benders. Aang discovers Taga, a surviving airbender, who reveals this lore to him.
Sonam used the staff to give people airbending. I could bring airbending back to the world.
This is everything you ever wanted, Aang.
We are getting gaslighted.
Monk Gyatso and the other airbenders may be gone, but you still have a family. Sokka and I, we're your family now.
We could heal the greatest atrocity my nation committed in the war.
This is what I'm talking about. You cannot. The act is already done. Heal implies restoring something to its previous state. Aang's people were genocided. Those people killed can't be unkilled. Team Avatar is under a psychosis that now believes that there is redemption, which is definitely not available. And this line makes the stakes sound smaller, like genocide is a cut you can put a bandage on, rather than the reality Aang realized, that this is an irreversible loss. You can't undo it, only make it better. While traveling to the staff, which is located on an island across the world, not only is Avatar Aang attacked by the Denied, who are also in pursuit of the staff, they are caught in an intense storm, where they are nearly almost killed. Katara tells Aang that this is too dangerous. The Denied couldn't even make it through a storm as harsh as this. Aang is pushing back. He believes the staff can bring back his people. No, it cannot, Aang. It doesn't reverse the past. The film is judging Aang morally for his pursuit of the staff, because clearly it was way too risky putting his friend's life in danger. He's going far off the deep end in pursuit of restoring his culture that literally cannot be brought back, because the staff is not some fucking time machine. Taga, believing that there can be no peace between the elements and wanting to continue the Air Nomads, he turns on Team Avatar and attempts to kill them. While Aang is over here being obsessed with restoring his culture and getting the staff, his family is getting murked by this nigga. His literal focus is on restoration and glee of getting the staff to bring back his old family, while the scenes are going back and forth to his current family getting killed. He is getting punished for his decision. After Taga ends Team Avatar, he reveals to Aang he just murked his friend group, as in his mind this is the only way for redemption for their people. Aang does not agree with Taga and wasn't really happy about his family dying, so Taga defeats Aang in battle and steals the staff. Sonam comes to Aang after he is left unconscious and questions what he has done after retrieving the staff and freeing Taga. as she was the one who trapped him, because Taiga wanted to create an army of airbenders to end the Earth Kingdom. Aang criticizes her for giving Taiga airbending in the first place. Clearly, you can see the hypocrisy. His friends were just sacrificed, and he made the judgment call to dangerously continue in the storm, in the act of trying to restore his culture. But he's blaming Sonam for her actions. This nigga is literally trying to give other people airbending. That's the reason for this entire journey you are on. Taiga's goal is to take Sonam's temple out of the spirit world in order to get unlimited power. He is successful in doing this. By traveling through a portal in the spirit world, Team Avatar finds Taiga and a final battle ensues. The dialogue between Taiga and Aang while fighting further proves why Aang's obsession of restoring his culture makes no sense.
You should have run away like you did all those years ago.
I won't run.
Then at least you'll die knowing you're not the last Airbender.
Taiga is so corrupted. He reframes dying in the pursuit of restoration as an action to proceed. The continuation of his culture is something that justifies the death of Aang and the entire Republic City. Clearly, Aang should accept the loss of his people, instead of accepting loss as long as it's undone. When Aang gains more power by taking the staff and planting it on Sonam's temple, Katara mentions how the power begins to corrupt him. The power of the staff is corrupting him, and he has the same obsession of restoration we see in Taiga. In Aang's monologue, we can see he has this idealized dream of being a savior to the Air Nomads. This is a fantasy where bringing back the Air Nomads would fix the world.
Bringing the Air Nomads back to the world as peacekeepers. They could have been a beacon of light for the world to follow, but you ruined it. You twisted my dream into a nightmare.
Aang's whole fixation on restoration is a harmful mindset, and it needs to be let go of. This is what the movie is literally saying. Taiga wants Aang to end him, as this would show him that Aang possesses the power to bring back the Air Nomad culture. A reminder of the Air Nomad culture helps Aang realize that this obsession is something he needs to let go of. Gyatso tells him that he will do so many great things as the Avatar, but he must do what frightens him the most.
Your people, your home, we are always with you.
Exactly. He can't lose himself trying to bring back his people. Bro, they are literally always with him. Aang does not need to physically restore the Air Nomads. Their presence isn't contingent on people around him having the ability to airbend. His people are always carried in him, his own values and what he does as an avatar. Upon learning this lesson, Aang destroys the staff by realizing he has the wrong belief, that restoring airbending would restore his people. Yes! Bringing them back would mean that Aang would have to betray everything his people stood for.
We can't erase the pain of the past. We couldn't save them.
But it's our duty to protect our people.
Not at the cost of betraying everything they stood for. It's time to let go. You have to forgive yourself. I have to forgive myself too.
Aang literally says he has to forgive himself, even though this was never something he faced in the original series. I mean, if he didn't run, he would have just got murked with the rest of his people as a wee boy. This movie resolves a trauma that should have never existed in the first place. The values of the Air Nomads didn't come from the bending, but their values. Aang now even has a group that's goal is to preserve the Air Nomad culture by finding things such as artifacts or temples, instead of trying to bring the people back. This film's message and the Legend of Korra's plot directly contradict each other. As the film progresses, it is constantly screaming at Aang through Katara, through Gyatso, through the corruption of the staff, that this obsession of restoring his culture needs to be let go of. His people will live on through his values, not through bloodlines or bending. And Korra, Aang passes this burden on to Tenzin anyways. It makes Aang an even worse father now. As he explicitly knows his lesson of letting go, he still turns around and puts that same unprocessed burden onto Tenzin, further regressing his character, raising his son in the mindset he clearly rejected, neglecting his other children, showing favoritism to Tenzin, leaving him with this unresolved burden. He failed his kid in Korra after seeing himself and Taiga go through that same obsession. He knew this and did it anyway. Double assassination! The Legend of Aang argues he's an abusive father. Thank you for watching. More videos soon. And shout out Sauce for proofreading the script. Bye!